Na 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 na. Hello, my name's Neon Gaming Someone 2, and today, instead of doing a Simple Chef episode, I'm doing a bit more of a spookier video. Probably about a week or two ago, I went on a little ghost hunt, and this is basically me talking about what happened. Okay, so a little bit of context. I went on the 20th of October. The ghost hunt started about midnight. I went to a ghost hunt before, and that was in Tor Point. That was back in August sort of time, and not much happened there. It was just pretty much little cracks, little bangs, stuff like that. But I expected too much to happen that night, but everyone split up into little groups. There was a good few people there, and everyone just split up into little groups to investigate each part of the area. One group went off into the main screen, which is screen 1. That's where I started. Then another group went off into the changing rooms, because it used to be a theatre before it was a cinema. And then group 3 went into the female toilet as well.
On a Blackberry, sorry.
It is true after school areas, we have access to changing rooms. So, the changing rooms are the original bit at the back. Right, men's toilets are over that section. And then we've got the ladies in that section.
So the night started off, it was about midnight, everyone was hanging around outside just talking and all that. Then they came out, made sure that everyone who was going to go came. We all went in and then all gathered at screen 1. It's protecting us from any kind of spirits that could possess us in some sort of way.
End it from this, okay? So end it this way.
Just before the spiritual opening, we all were just told to go into screen 1, which is the main screen, and just sit down somewhere. It was people who went were me, my friend Noah, my friend Zach, my dad, and my friend Zach's mum. We all went off into a little corner to sit by ourselves and just talk for a little bit. I thought I'd get a little pan, and that's where I caught a little thing.
I think you love her a bit too much.
She is one cutie pie.
She is, but she's yours.
A bit unsure. They were a bit pulled between if it was a light or if it was an actual orb. I caught it quite quickly after we spent probably like 10-15 minutes talking about it, trying to figure it out. Most of them thought that it was an orb, but some people, they were saying, oh no, it's just a light from someone's phone that turned on.
I think you love her a bit too much.
She is one cutie pie.
She is, but she's yours.
After that, we all went a bit closer. They turned off all the lights to the entire building, then split off into different groups. My group started off in screen 1. We all just sat around in a little circle, called out to the ghost to see if anything could happen. 3 people left and went up top to try and do something, because people who were facing towards the stairs, dash the seats, they were saying that they could see stuff like sat up in the seats, walking around, all sorts like that. So a little group of like 3 or 4 people went up top, had a little look around, just did a little investigation of their own. We heard a couple knocks from the fire exit. So most, like the remaining people of the group, they all went into there. That place was pitch black, and it was quite, because apparently they saw a man who was probably about 8 feet tall, probably. He was stood in between my dad and Zach. I didn't get any of this on film because I was just pretty much stood there wondering what was happening, not knowing where I was really. They kept seeing people walking around from the seats, almost as if they were coming up through the... Okay, so after we did the little fire exit part, we left. Then one of the crew members had a pendulum. It would spin a certain way for yes, a certain way for no, and then do something different for don't know. So what you have to do, you have to ask it questions. It will start rocking side to side if it has a spirit attached to it. So it just started rocking side to side. We had to cut it off quite quickly because a bad spirit, in a sense, got attached to it. Okay, after that, the little group that went up top to begin with, they decided to go back down to the bottom towards the screen and try and have a look to see if they could capture anything on their own little device. Me and my dad, we both went walking off to do our own little investigation. Here we are in screen 3.
Do we want to pull back the curtain? He's an angel.
One of the crew members asked him when he went to a real cinema. Apparently he was possessed like 3 times, I think it was, and they couldn't find him quite quickly. He just kind of disappeared without anyone knowing where he went. They called him on all like their walkie-talkies, but he didn't come through at all. They said that he went off somewhere, but when they went to check, he wasn't there. So when me and my dad got back from our little walk around that we had, they were saying, oh, he's disappeared. After that, not much happened. Showing up about 5-10 minutes later after all that happened, and he was totally fine as far as we know. Okay, after screen 1, what everyone did was everyone regrouped just outside. There was a little area where they made some tea. They got little snacks for people who came.
Alright. Do I open that door? Are we allowed? Guess locked. Nice. Hey, when you're editing, make sure you tell them, didn't pee myself. You just actually look at some. No, is that it?
My dad gave me a little flashlight, so that helped to see as we were walking around. We were probably around in the little breakout area for about 10-15 minutes. Then we all broke back into our little groups, and my group left the building, went around back, and by now it would probably be about 2 o'clock in the morning. Probably.
You're stopping me. Here they come. After you.
Sticky banks. We made it, Joe.
Behind us.
We're back.
No, I'm
Right, let's keep out. Basically, we walked up behind by a little office area, I'm pretty sure. Then we went into a little room. Strangely enough, there was a little corridor just as you walk in. To your right, there was a door with loads of broken seats, like there was just spare seats. We walk in, you walk up a little bit, then you look down a little corridor, and there's a fire exit right at the very end. That one was closed as far as we can remember. Okay, so now we were walking up the stairs, it was...
Oh, they're your glow sticks, huh?
That's it.
Do we up again or no?
Are we up again?
I think they're right there.
I think, yeah.
Oh, turn it around.
Gone up again.
Going up again?
I know.
This is the mirror. This is the mirror. Your face is just the wall.
Time machine, isn't it?
1990.
Big mirror right there.
That's what that was. 2 years before, wasn't it? 1991.
In Harrow, September 1990. That one's old, isn't it?
Which one of you people's good at it? Could you borrow? Bring your wife with you. Right, Al, you're up.
the stairs to the roof and then to the boiler room. So none of this is you can touch it and then come up to this part. What's that, sorry? Yeah, there have been investigations in there before. I don't know when, but I was speaking to her manager and she's going to do investigations. Yeah.
Usually you can investigate places before they're more likely to interact with rather than a brand new place where they just don't know.
Yeah, it has been completely before. Because there's a few different groups that come in time.
So basically, not much happened up there. We all walked back down. Some of the group stayed up and had a little look around because they didn't get a good enough look to begin with. So basically, we started walking down. I tried to be last again, trying not to get any faces, just people's feet. And then we got down to the bottom. This is where it got weird because fire door being closed, and this time it was open. I didn't take any notice of it because I thought it was open to begin with, but then we all left, we started walking, and then Noah said, I could have sworn that fire door was open, or closed more like. I couldn't remember it being open or closed at all. I couldn't even remember seeing the door, to be honest, until we got down to the bottom and then that one was open. So basically, we all walked back down. We went back in. I filmed a bit more, just walking around. Me, Zach and Noah, we all went walking around a little bit. We found Screen 2.
Screen 2. Yes, it is. Yes. Screen 1's over there, but the corner up there is the screen 3. Is the screen 1.
Oh, okay, yeah, not.
He was a bit of a geek. What is down there?
Are we opening? Come on now. Goes on Screen 2.
What we do, we go on Screen 2. Within Screen 2, we kind of split off again. There was a really small group of people. I didn't film any of this. I got a little film of Screen 2. And we had another like 4 or 5 people stay into the screen, but then everyone else went into the fire exit. I stayed in the screen, so did Zach and Zach's mum. Noah and my dad both went off into the little fire exit. In the screen where I was, there was one of the crew members, another lady from the public, then me, Zach and Zach's mum. Before, when they investigated the screen, apparently they remember seeing, I don't know if they captured it or not, but they definitely remember seeing a man walk up the stairs up towards a certain row and a certain seat 13. So what happened? She went up there, the lady from the public, she went up there, sat in that seat. Then Zach and Zach's mum stayed down the very bottom and then just sat there. A crew member, she sat off in a different seat. And then I sat in a different seat. Everyone was pretty much spread around. Everyone apart from me was sat on the left side. I sit off in a totally different seat, on a totally different side. I sit in right by the stairs. Nothing was really happening to me personally. I never filmed any of this because they're like, oh, I just want to feel the energy of the room. Then Zach says, is there anyone sat up on, or like sat up top whispering? We were going to speak to each other. We definitely speak normally because it was quite difficult to hear. It would definitely be very difficult to hear each other's whisper. But Zach and his mum apparently heard, well, they thought it was me. Apparently it sounded a lot like me, but with a deeper voice. During that, he was like, oh, it's weird because I can hear, it sounds like someone whispering, trying not to disrupt the movie that was happening and like try not to bother anyone trying to watch it. It sounded like someone that sounded a lot like me, but with a much deeper voice, whispering to someone about the film or something like that. I wasn't speaking at all or whispering at all, and that was really what happened to me the first time. Okay, so pretty much so far the only thing that's happened to me in Scream 2 is me apparently whispering with. After I found out about that, I heard a little thud behind one of the chairs. I didn't really think anything of it, I just thought it was kind of someone else moving. I heard a massive thud, and it was not on my chair, but it was on the chair above me, like right behind me and like one row up. From that happening, I just kind of jumped. I had my flashlight just in case if anything happened. The crew member was like, oh, you're right. I was like, we both switch. I go up and sit next to the lady who sat up in seat 13. I moved probably for about 10 minutes. Not much really happened, but she could feel it being a lot heavier. Then she was sat about 3 rows from the bottom. She could see like shoulders and a head, and she said, did you see that when you were there? I'm like, I couldn't see anything at all to be almost noteworthy. And she was sat there and said, oh, there's a head and shoulders sat there watching the film. It was just not moving at all. Apparently it was just staring straight at the screen, not doing anything. People from the fire exit area, they decided to leave because not much was happening. And then everyone's like, okay, let's just leave.